Nation Live, back in our studio. We're going to bring Chris Harris in just for a few moments to get his thoughts on today's game. A game that, well, was not one of the most memorable contests that we've seen here at the EmiratesStadium, but certainly one where a number of youngsters have made their comebacks, and it's been interesting to see the likes of Ainsley Maitland-Niles once again come back after that broken leg, and of course Emile Rowe get on the score sheet. Shame about Matteo Guendouzi. Your thoughts on the game as a whole, Chris? First up.
Well, first of all, just trying to send my report down, so
Sorry.
Thanks for dragging me over
man.
here. I enjoyed the game, actually. I'll tell you what, I enjoyed it more once Guendouzi went off. I think it became a better game, didn't it?
It was a contest, wasn't it?
Exactly. I think the second goal, it looked like it might peter out after that. And Guendouzi, before that red card, really was pulling the strings. He plays every game like it's his last, doesn't it? Whether it's Barcelona, Man City or Blackpool, he puts everything into the game. He was a class above, I think, for the first hour. When he went off, Blackpool made it a bit hard. O'Connor will be kicking himself for that red card later on, because it looked like they could just nick a second.
As regards those players that are fringe first teamers here, Guendouzi, I think we take away from that because he played at the weekend and he's a starter quite regularly in the Premier League. Who do you think has inched a little bit closer to being Unai Emery's thoughts for a Premier League start, or maybe just a Premier League substitute appearance? Because we've got an awful lot of fringe players who've played tonight. Pleguezuelo's played tonight, Jenkins has been back tonight. Anyone who caught your eye who might just be upped a little in the pecking order?
I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles is a class act. He played about an hour or so, went off after the red card to Guendouzi. Jenkinson's waited 701 days for another first-team game, so for him it was good to get some game time playing out of position as well. And Pleggy did himself proud. He did exactly what we needed. He was very assured, very solid, good on the ball, won some key headers at times. He's been playing at right-back this season, so good to see him back in his main role for his big night.
Yeah, Pleguezuelo plays centre-half. He's played for Premier League 2, obviously, for the Arsenal under-23s this campaign after those spells in Spain in the Segunda. Obviously, we had players like Aaron Ramsey, who haven't been featuring as much as we thought they might do in the Premier League. He played the full 90. Henrik Mkhitaryan did as well. Danny Welbeck started. Those are the players who are in a different sort of area to the likes of Maitland-Niles and even to Guendouzi, obviously. For me, and I've got to be honest here, I don't think I saw enough of them in the first half. You know, I expected more from our senior players. This is a League One outfit after all. Is that fair?
It's slightly fair, but I think at the same time, you make 9 changes, you bring in players who've had injury layoffs, haven't been in the team for 2 years in some cases. There's going to be a lack of cohesion, I think, in the first half. It took us time to get going. What I liked about Arsenal today was Blackpool looked to defend very deep, but Arsenal tried to find space in behind them. It was interesting how we weren't just playing in front of them. At times in the past, I think we've been guilty of playing in front of teams, being quite easy to play against and keep at arm's length. But Guendouzi, Ramsey were looking for balls over the top from the first minute. And those little runs, those dancing little runs, Welbeck's pace, Ainsley's pace over the top, they were looking for that a lot, looking to get the Blackpool defence turn. They didn't like that at all. It gave us a few chances, and that is where that first goal came from, of course. An intelligent run into the box, a visionary pass, and Lichtsteiner scores his first for the club.
Unai Emery has won the League Cup over the last 2 years, not in this country, obviously, but in France. He knows what it takes to be involved in 3 cup competitions. Paris Saint-Germain's a little bit different, I know. But even so, we've seen changes for this game. The previous game against Brentford, we saw the likes of Lacazette come on and get a goal. I mean, I tell you, for my money, it's so important to get a trophy as quickly as possible if you're a new manager. Should he target this from here on in with the quarterfinals, one more quarterfinal, then a 2-legged semi, then we're into the Wembley final? Well, what's your thoughts on the League Cup as a whole and where it should stand for Unai this season?
I think he targets everything. Top 4 is important. The title probably beyond us this season. Europa League is important. This one's important. The FA Cup's not too far away as well. What I like about Unai is the way he's managing his squad through these 4 competitions. It's been 2 games a week. There's 4 home games in, I think, 10 days or so. So it's very intense. I like it. He's got the insurance policy on the bench. Aubameyang coming on tonight. Torreira coming on to shore things up after Guendouzi went off. He's handling it very well, I think.
Yeah, it's been an interesting night. There's been some good performances from 1 or 2 fringe first teamers. Not the best spectacle, but intriguing nonetheless. And more importantly, Arsenal get the job done. Much more to discuss with Arsenal Nation Live that kicks off next. Arsenal through to the next round. They've beaten Blackpool by 2-1.
So as we've just seen, Arsenal 2 and Blackpool 1 were able to secure the victory despite what I would say is a hiccup with the sending off, and of course Blackpool grabbing a goal back. We're going to throw up some of your tweets. Obviously you have some big opinions on today's game. Has been a win for Arsenal, thankfully, and we move forward. But the tweet that we love is this one, which is comparing past and present. Of course, Lichtsteiner has probably been younger than he is now, and Emile Smith-Rowe is obviously a very young player. So it's kind of like a dad and son scenario. What do you think about that? Maybe one day, do you think you'd ever get to see your kids playing football, Jeremy?
I'd love to, yeah. You know, I'd love to see my boy playing for Arsenal and scoring a goal. So, yeah, you know, can always, if he works hard,
he can follow in his dad's
hopefully, man.
You know. As an agent, cheeky sport agent, you know.
So in terms of Lichtsteiner, he's obviously one of the older heads in the team. When you had a good run in the Carabao Cup, you had such a young side. Do you think maybe if there'd been maybe an older player or some of the first team players had come into the squad, would it have been able to push you over the line to grab that trophy?
Well, to be fair, the run we've had, we had some quite experienced player coming down from the starting 11 as well. Not many, but we had few senior players every time, you know, been around and on the bench as well. But it always helped to have some older players that can guide you on the pitch and help you out. But you know, we've got great talent. Even the young players that played tonight and done well, scored the goal. So it's yeah, nice, looking good.
So then, Joel, in terms of when you're watching a League Cup game like this, are you excited to see those young players coming through? Would you like to see those established players also playing with them?
It's a mixture of both. I mean, you saw Guendouzi out there. He was phenomenal for me in the first half. He looked like, you know, he could easily be in trying to break through like the other players, but he's so good that you can just tell that he is a first-team player. And also at the same time, it's great to see Maitland-Niles come back and do what he did tonight. I know that he's been trying to get his fitness up, but for me, it's amazing. You're monitoring their progress, and you get to mix them in with the big fish, and then boom, hopefully Arsenal become Carabao Cup winners.
So once again, we're through to the quarterfinals. We're looking past the quarterfinals, hopefully. At what stage do you think we need to bring in some more of those first teamers, or do you think we should stick with this 11?
It's a tough one, because obviously now that you're in the quarterfinals, you just start thinking you want to go, you know, you want to go and win it, really, because there's only a couple of games and you know, you're in the final. So I don't know, it just depends what week is going to end up, what game we'll have that week. It all kind of depends what rotation it will have, if we'll have a game on the Saturday, or, you know, what kind of game will be, and where he's going to be able to rest some players and bring some in. But he always, as you can see, always do a rotation for them games, but you always have that, you know, strong bench in case of any kind of, you know, thing goes wrong and not go Arsenal way. You can always bring Aubameyang and it will be like tonight. So it's not just a pure, you know, kind of young team. You still have some.
The spine was strong. The spine, because you had Mustafi, you had Guendouzi, you had Welbeck. So for me, that's experience.
Each line has experienced players,
So looking forward in terms of an experienced player. We do actually have an interview with Lichtsteiner as he came off the pitch. So he was a goal scorer, solid defender. Let's see what he had to say about today's game.
So 2-1, your first goal for Arsenal. How would you sum up that performance?
I think a little bit a mix of. We played good football. I think maybe we asked a little bit too behind the ball, but at the end it was until the 2-0. It was a good game, and then we started to do everything not so intelligent. So I think we have to work on that. 2-0, just stay easy, try to be behind the ball, play easy. Then the 2-1. And again, we try to do the 3-1 5 minutes before the end. So just to be a little bit more intelligent. But at the end, I think it's a good performance, especially from the young players.
On that, I mean, it's great to see a mixture of youth and experience in the lineup. How important is that for the squad?
You know, on this level, the games you're winning with the details. So if it's 2-1 and it's not a clear chance, don't go for the goal. Just wait for the clear chance. Don't go 3-4 times offside to the goal. So on that we have to work. But at the end, I think it was a good performance. Just we have to work. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. That's quick. Yeah, thank you.
So lads, do you echo what Lichtsteiner was saying there? It's more of a no-nonsense assessment of the game from Lichtsteiner. He wanted us to probably be more solid in defence when we went 2-1 up. What are your opinions there, Joel?
Well, you're not really going to argue with a man like that, are you? I mean, the experience, he looks like he's going to shout at me if I step out of line. So I completely do agree with him. And you know what? It's good to hear someone say that, you know? We're not in a position where we have to try to cover up players and cover up performances. He said it's great, you know, it was a good performance by the young players, but we need to make sure that we keep it at 2-0. And as long as you've got elder spokesman like him pushing that agenda, I can only see great things for us, man. How could you not?
I would say that was a great point there from Lichtsteiner and, of course, from Joel as well, in terms of levelling off our praise on the game. But we do have some tweets who are really giving some praise to Emile Smith-Rowe. I'm going to throw that up for you. You can see this one. Emile Smith-Rowe, move over Kate Moss. Croydon has a new kid in town. He scored a goal, his first home goal at the Arsenal. Smith-Rowe has just scored Ozil's bounce technique, tears in my eyes. So he's definitely grabbed the attention of the Arsenal nation. In terms of you, Jeremy, when you look at Emile Smith-Rowe, what can we hope for his future development? What kind of player do you think he'll grow into?
Well, he's got everything. He's got everything to become a great player, you know, but you just want to see more of him, you know. Them League Cup are great, you know, give him the opportunity, but you want to see him coming on in the Premier League. You want to see him, you know, slowly play more and more. And I'm sure by playing more regularly, he'll just get up to a different level and just become a fantastic player, hopefully.
So again, when we're talking about the development of players, League Cup's a great way to see players really push on and push forward. But there's a player that we were praising so heavily at half-time. Obviously, it was Guendouzi, but he made what some people were saying in these tweets are a mistake. So here's a tweet that someone's saying, rookie mistake by Matteo Guendouzi. Decision making is what separates good from great. But is that too harsh? He's very young. He's in his first season with the Arsenal. Joel, do you think it was just a mistake, like the person said there in the tweet? It's something he can improve upon? It's
definitely something he can improve upon. I mean, he's a really young boy, you know, so he's a teenager, right? So to me, I look at it and I think, hey, that's just someone that's got to talk to him, you know, talk within his ear. Or unfortunately, I don't want to say it, but it could happen at a time where he really feels that, oh, you know what, I need to change. You can see that's happened with all the great players down the years, David Beckham, Wayne Rooney, and they were really fiery players, you know, for other teams, and even people like Patrick Vieira. But, you know, as you get older, you mature, you kind of learn to pick your battles, and so I think that's going to happen with him. He's a human being at the end of the day, and a fantastic one at that as well.
So when we're looking at the actual incident, Jeremy, do you think it was harsh from the referee, or do you think it was a worthy sending off?
I think the Blackpool player just took advantage of it. Obviously, we're looking for a foul, and he just got kind of pulled a little bit just for, you know, a go down. I don't think he thought, oh, it's Guendouzi, he's got already a yellow card, because you won't think like that. But he were kind of looking for a foul, and he got it. But, you know, like you said, he's very young. You know, he will learn from it, and, you know, luckily, it didn't cost us the game. We still managed to win. So, you know, he'll just learn from it, and he'll make sure he won't do it again.
So in that moment, do you think we were in cruise control before then? Because we were up, we were controlling the game. As soon as we went a player down, that's when kind of Blackpool got their energy back. Do you think it would have been a case that we probably wouldn't have seen the substitutions that happen if it wasn't for the fact that we were a man down, Joel?
He was a class above the rest, you know. For me, as a young centre midfielder still trying to get back into the game, it was a fantastic lesson, and I just think he's a great player. And of course, when someone gets sent off, immediately you have to change things around a little bit. You have to either protect the team. But I thought it was very brave that, you know, I saw some attacking players come on. I saw Aubameyang come on. I thought that was very positive, etc. You definitely have to change it, but I do feel like we still felt as if we were under control because of the substitutions that were made.
So, Jeremy, in terms of someone who's obviously played the game, when we've got Aubameyang, we've got Torreira, and we've got all of our potential first-teamers coming off the bench to play some minutes they probably thought they weren't going to play, are they going to be ready for that tough game we've got against Liverpool coming up? We've got a tweet also that kind of echoes what I just said.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll be ready, for sure. And then, you know, it's another win. You know, doesn't matter how, you know, the game was in the first half or at the end you win. It's another win, and then they'll all be ready for that big game on Saturday. It's a massive one, you know.
So they won't be carrying these minutes in their legs into those games, or you think it's still going to be fresh?
You don't
20 minutes, mate.
You don't carry nothing. Them games are just all players that just dream to play against, you know, Liverpool, Man U, and all them massive games. That is just a, you know.
It was like, I don't want to be disrespectful to the Tangerines, but to me it looked a bit like, for Iwobi, what did he do? What, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe?
Yeah.
What did he do? It
something in those
It was not a long time, you know. I mean, he's kept his fitness up. You know, he'll be all right tomorrow. I think Torreira played. Of course, he played the most. But Aubameyang, I mean, come on, literally like.
And this is what we'd say is the mark of the Unai Emery Arsenal. They're known for being fit, they're known for being runners, so they've got the energy, they've got the ability, and definitely got the desire to push against Liverpool. So in terms of that Liverpool game, what do you think is going to be the biggest barrier for us to getting success?
It's just going to be a tough game, and small little details are just going to make the game, you know, like anything can happen. It's just we need to start from the start and not start in the second half, you know.
That's the
first half is key. The first 15-20 minutes is massive, because against them team you lose 1 or 2-0 half time, you aren't coming back, you know, and that's what's going to be major, and I'm sure Unai Emery will be on the case for that. Because
so Joel, if we look back to the beginning of the season against Manchester City, how far do you think this team has developed since then? Obviously, we are on the streak where we haven't lost for 12 games. So when we come into this Liverpool game, how confident are you?
Well, it's funny because the streak is important, but besides the streak, you can see the friendships have developed off the pitch. You can see the football has improved. People have settled down, calmed down. I want to say Guendouzi, despite what you saw today, these are players that have calmed down, settled down. Torreira's in the side now. In the beginning of the season, he was hardly in it when he came back from the World Cup. I mean, so like what Jeremy's saying, we just need to calm down because at the current moment, the vibes are good. And of course, like we said, we've got a streak, man. We haven't lost in 13 games now, sorry. So for me, we're in a great position, but we have to start well.
And Jeremy, do you think our manager now knows his starting 11 more so than he did against Manchester City? He knows which players he can rely on. He knows which players are best taking on his messages.
I think so, yeah. I think he has got his favourite player, if I will say, the player that he knows that is, you know, not in the starting 11 all the time, but his main man. But then after, you can see he's rotating all the time. He kind of change 1 or 2, or he just sees he's there, you know, day in, day out training with the boys. So he knows when one might need a rest or, you know, change position, or how he can adapt. And you can see at the moment it's obviously working fantastic, you know, it's so positive. So we just can only be behind him and hopefully carry on doing what he's been doing.
He's keeping the players on his toes, because it doesn't matter who you are. You don't know what's going to happen. I think the fans are shocked. You know, I don't know about you watching.
The other day when I saw Aubameyang on the bench, I was just a bit surprised. You know, for a while, I expected him to start on the left like he's been doing the previous game, and he was just on the bench. But that's, you know, that's how it is. And he's not. What I like about him as well is the fact that if he sees it's not going right, he's not scared to make a substitution at half time. You know, immediate change players, and he's, you know, and just seems to, even Ozil's reaction after coming on, he loves it, because he's like, that means the player cares and want to play, don't want to be substitute, and don't want to come off. You know, and that's what makes the team better, the passion. You know, and make the club better, and the team really. Everybody fight for each other, and that's how we.
So looking forward to us still in the League Cup. Let's look at these results to see who we potentially could be taken on from tonight. So of course, Arsenal 2-1. That's us. That's what we wanted. Chelsea 3-2 against Derby. So that Chelsea defence looking a little bit leaky. West Ham were losing 1-0. They lost 3-1 to Tottenham, and of course, Middlesbrough, your old team, were able to beat Crystal Palace. If you were to pick a team for the next round from tonight or last night, who would it be?
Well, I like to see Arsenal, Middlesbrough, as I played for both teams. It'd be great for me to see that, but we'll see, man.
I want to see Arsenal, Middlesbrough as well, because I just want to see that. For me, it's the best fixture that we can have. You want to progress as far as possible, and with no disrespect to Middlesbrough, they are the weakest team you know, in there.
yeah,
so for us, we got to get as far as possible, man.
So if you think if we play Middlesbrough, obviously we're predicting the future right now, but if we were to draw Middlesbrough, would you be looking for this particular squad, so starting 11, to be playing that game, or would you still bring in those more experienced players just to make sure we get through to that semi-final?
Listen, from the previous round to this round, it's been completely changed as well, you know. So I'm sure we'll have some more surprises for the next round. You know, you'll see players. I'm not even sure when is the quarterfinals, how many weeks it is.
Mate.
But
Arsenal will book us in, mate. We'll be here. We'll be here.
But they're, you know, so many things can happen. Player can get injured or suspended, or anything can happen. So we'll see. But I'm sure, you know, he's really taking it seriously, and he wants to win the quarterfinal and go as far as possible. So he'll put what he think is strong enough to win the game. So
we're looking forward, but we've got to wait until the middle of December for that quarter-final. But before then, we've got a game against Liverpool in the Premiership. Liverpool are playing well. We're playing well. It's going to be very exciting. You'll be able to see us again at 5 p.m. and hopefully the lads will be back on your screens to give you some more expert analysis. So thank you for joining us, Jeremy Addy there, and of course, Joel from Cheeky Sport. We want to see your comments, so keep tweeting us. And of course, we'll see you again on Saturday at 5 p.m. Have a great night.